I know this morning I was looking through, looking at Evan Mobley's stats for this year and just watching all the previous games and just Garland has played really well with the bigs on this team. No surprise there, but just Mobley has looked dominant, strong fundamentals, a really good player here. So that got me down the path of comparing Evan Mobley, like what other big men have we had recently that compared to his early start here? I'm certainly blinded by the Cavs and how well Mobley has played in this hot streak. But Eric, let's go to you first here. Just I thought Tim Duncan, he was like the first one to come to mind. That's pretty much paints me as crazy. But what do you think about Evan Mobley and just him being the next big man of the NBA?
Well, I don't know if I put him in the category with Shaq, Hakeem, or Tim Duncan, even though he was technically at four. But he is a talented player that can do a tremendous amount on the floor. Averaging almost 15 points per game, almost 2 blocks a game, almost 8 rebounds a game, and 2.5 assists per game is something that is not common for a 5 or 4 man, depending on how you want to look at him. Um, he's in a offensive system that features him predominantly, unlike at Golden State that's obviously relying heavily on the three. He and Jared Allen are two guys that are, down low. They're going to be options for the point guards to get them the ball. And he's typically in the right place at the right time, fortunately. And I think he can be another huge piece of a championship puzzle down the road. As far as putting him in the breath of other of these greats, he's going to have to dominate games on a consistent basis to kind of be put in that upper echelon. Not saying it can't happen, but I think for a good thing is that the Cavs have so many talented players at this point that we don't need to have a one person like a LeBron James, and for their guys, we can kind of spread their wealth around. Um, so, hey, that would be great if he's, one of these once in a generational guys. I don't expect that, but if he can, kind of keep his pace and keep improving himself, then we're going to have a really, really talented center with this team, and a lot of good opportunities to win games and hopefully championships.
Drew, is my comparison out there. What other big men have we seen recently? I feel like the NBA has switched to like the Draymond Green is as big of a guy you need in your front court.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of his peers, I think sort of pie in the sky comparison for him, at least among current big men, would be Joel Embiid. I don't think he's quite that big, that muscular as Joel Embiid is, but he certainly has that type of offensive game, right? He can shoot it from the outside. He has some good post moves. And he's an excellent defender, just like Joel Embiid is. So if you want to talk like current big men, what is, maybe his maximum type of potential? I don't think he quite gets to the superstar status that Joel Embiid is. Joel Embiid, was a very highly rated player during his time, I believe, at Kansas. He's a superstar in the league, right? I think if that's what you're looking for, that would be the mold that you'd be looking to go. And to get there, Evan Mobley has to get significantly stronger, right? He has to be able to compete with those types of centers and keep them off the boards, keep them, off of, sort of dominating the offensive game. But I think he has the ability to do it. He certainly has the length. He certainly has the leaping ability to contend virtually any shot on the floor. So if you're looking for a current big man comparison, what he could be in 3 to 5 years, I think that is your sort of hope. That's your target. That's the game you want him to emulate.
Am I looking past Jared Allen? Do you think Jared Allen sort of surpasses him? He's been growing, but he's probably got 4 or 5 years in age on Mobley. But I think Mobley surpasses Allen. I don't know. Am I
I
wrong in
think
that?
so. I mean, Allen's a great player. When the Cavs have Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley all on the floor together, they are something like 23-8. It's a ridiculous pace. If you extrapolate that out, they win something like 61 games over an 82 game season, which would be, I believe, close to the franchise record. It'd be right there with it. So when they have those three players, they can do just about anything. And yeah, I think Jared Allen is, I think he will surpass that, right? He's just about there on the points per game now. Jared Allen just happens to shoot 70% from the field because he's so big and strong, and he can just finish near the basket. So I think that's where I want Mobley to get. I want him to get to be as strong as Jared Allen is, and if he gets to that, I think the rest of his game would allow him to even surpass that. And that's the hope, right? The hope is that he becomes the next sort of superstar center, with Jared Allen as just an excellent four or a backup. But I'd like to have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley on the floor as much as possible. They have proven that they can space that thing out enough to where they can play significant minutes on the floor together. And when they do, the Cavs are one of the best defensive teams in the